I wasn't going to tell you till you met. Fuck it, so I'm getting married.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. When it's right. What's happening?
Get down, get down!
It's Bulgaria, 1994. A masked assassin sets a timer in a bathroom, then goes into a building and fights their way through several guards. One man makes it as far as a room and, panicked, demands another's gun.
Give me a gun. Give me a gun.
Relax.
We don't have enough.
It's one guy.
He's killing everyone.
His sentence is cut short when the assassin bursts through the window. When the room falls silent, one man remains. He tries to bribe them with a loaded bag of cash, but the assailant stays silent until they decide they've heard enough. They shoot him dead and leave the cash behind. Outside, she takes off the mask, revealing she is a woman. She speaks with a man named Damien, and their conversation is strained. The timer she set begins to beep, so she ends the call, pulls a pregnancy test from her bag, and finds 2 lines. 31 years later, she's a crankier older lady at the beach in Greece that tosses a ball into the sea after some kids hit her in the back of the head with it, possibly by mistake. Edward rushes in time to board his flight but hesitates for a moment at the checkpoint. When he sees his mom, it is clear why he hesitated. They're not close, acting like acquaintances rather than mother and son. While Edward goes upstairs to get settled, Julie gets a call from Damien, who's calling after 10 years with a job. She tells him she's retired and her son is around, but Damien insists that the target's already at her doorstep. Before he can say more, she shuts him down. Edward hears enough to question her, but she's in a hurry to leave and does so. In Libya, a Dutch man is thrown into a cell. As he's getting pushed around, an inmate intervenes and takes him to the gang leader, who already knows he's in there for drug possession. He shows no interest in Jasper's innocence story.
I will look after you, and in return, you will look after me.
He then opens a laptop and tells the new prisoner that hacking into it is his only chance of survival. Later during lunch, Edward brings up a letter an Anvil asset left him for his 30th birthday. It names him as a trustee to a large sum of money, which he believes could be the key to finding his father. Julie claims his father was not a good man and denies any knowledge of Anvil asset, but Edward doesn't believe her. It's not the first time she's lied to him about his father. When her phone rings inside, he steps back, eyes wet, and tells her she's free to go answer it. It's Damien calling again. He says she's the closest operative to their target and offers to triple her pay. He reminds her she could use the money for her son and that she's been missing the action. Julie tells Edward she has to leave, then heads to her room to prepare. Julie locks onto her target, but something feels wrong. She calls Damien to confirm, only to realize the person on the line isn't him. It's a stranger using a voice changer. Alarmed, she returns home and contacts one of their mutual associates, but no one has heard from Damien in a while. The target, Kayla, is on a luxury yacht with her brother, Ezra. She talks about her work for a charitable organization, while Ezra mentions that he earns big money working for their father, Aaron Cross. When Kayla casually mentions the name Chantaines, Ezra freezes and tells her it's something they're not supposed to know about. Elsewhere, Edward agrees to attend a wedding in the village with his mother. In Libya, Jasper confides in the Dutchman that they're planning to kill a rival. He then passes this information to a guard who promises him protection. At the wedding, Edward tells Julie he's engaged. Their moment is cut short by sniper fire and panic. Julie quickly calculates that the shooter reloads every 5 shots, giving them 8 seconds to move each time. She also knows she's the real target. After grabbing a dead man's car keys, she speeds toward the sniper's position, crashes the car, and pretends to be unconscious. When the masked assassin moves in to finish the job, she ambushes him and kills him with a rock. Back in prison, Jasper learns too late that snitches don't survive long. He rushes to his cell to retrieve a hidden phone and warns the person on the other end to contact Aaron Cross. If Cross doesn't get him out soon, Jasper threatens to expose everything he knows, but the gang leader is already in his face as time has just run out. Edward meets his mom at the Rocky Hills, wanting answers that she won't give. More men arrive at the wedding asking about Julie. When the village doctor gets suspicious of their identity, the men kill him and everyone left. One older man tells the leader, Alfonso, that Julie lives in a cottage at the top of the hill. Luca, the butcher, escapes the massacre. Kayla is still pushing for clarity on what Chantaines means, and when she disappears down the steps of the yacht, Ezra calls someone angry that her nosy self hasn't been gotten rid of yet. After much pestering, Julie admits to Edward that
I used to do bad things, okay? For money.
The shooter she killed was her colleague. They escape on her bike just as the bad guys arrive, and Julie dives into the sea, swimming away for answers, leaving Edward momentarily confused before he follows. Luca, too. They all make it to Kayla's luxury yacht, where Edward introduces her as his fiancée. A mysterious woman joins a graphic novel and art class, telling the coordinator that her project will center on a man named Edward. Meanwhile, Julie warns Kayla that someone has placed a hit on them. Realizing the threat is serious, she orders the yacht's captain to set course for Athens. When Kayla steps away, Julie quietly admits to Edward that Kayla herself is the target of a job she was offered. In Libya, Jasper is told he'll be the one to kill Chi-Chi, their rival gang leader. Back on the yacht, Edward hides the truth about the attack from Kayla. Ezra takes Julie and Luca on a tour and mentions that their father, Aaron Cross, owns a mining company that's been in the family for years. Kayla has spent 5 years working in its charity division, but Julie gets sidetracked before she can uncover anything meaningful. Spotting a jet ski near the yacht, Julie arms herself and searches the deck. Turning a corner, she calls out to Sean. They face each other at gunpoint until he lowers his weapon, first out of professional courtesy, but he makes it clear there's a hefty bounty on her head. He insists Damien is dead, but Julie refuses to believe him. When Edward and Kayla walk in, she lies smoothly about why Sean is there. In prison, Jasper prepares to kill Chi-Chi but is suddenly dragged back to his cell. The gang leader tells him Aaron Cross received his message and that they'll be joining him on the prison break. Having looked into Cross, the gang leader realizes how powerful the man is and starts pressing Jasper about his connection to him. Jasper, who used to work as an IT specialist for Cross's mining company, stays hesitant until the gang leader begins torturing him for answers. Julie opposes Edward, telling Kayla what's truly happening.
She's safe while I'm here, okay?
Trying to calm his fear that his fiancée is in danger. She, however, feels Ezra is shifty. Sean disappears first, and soon after, an alarm goes off, making Julie leave the table in search of danger. Sean sends her running for cover with gunfire, and she accidentally drops her gun. She hides in the kitchen and throws a cheese fork to distract him, managing to land a punch. The price on her head has tripled, and now he's willing to claim it. Edward keeps the rest engaged with a made-up story that Sean and Julie are romantically involved while the two assassins fight for survival. While trying to strangle her, Sean sneers.
You should have stayed retired.
Julie reaches for the cheese fork and stabs him, freeing herself from his grip. She kills him, and a worker who walks in on them goes to alert Kayla and the others. A guard kills the gang leader and his henchman, but not before Jasper reveals the compromising thing he found in Cross's email was Shantane's. The guard then leads Jasper out of the prison walls. With the truth out, Kayla has to think hard about who would want her dead. Julie wants to set sail to Tirana, where her handler was last seen. Later, she overhears Ezra on a suspicious call about wanting someone gone. When he finishes, he realizes he's been locked inside the sauna. Julie turns up the heat, demanding answers. Edward and Kayla step in, and Ezra admits he was talking to the family lawyer because he wants Kayla out of the company. Jasper later confronts the guard. Assessing they're both loose ends, who'll be killed once Aaron finds out what they know. He knows the guard has been paid extra to babysit Jasper, but Jasper convinces him to take the money he has and hide. They part ways. In bed, Kayla tells Edward about the email she received from Jasper, threatening to expose shady dealings. Aaron receives news that Jasper has escaped. Kayla tells Ezra she's quitting her position after confirming he isn't trying to kill her. Edward helps Julie get rid of Sean's body. Afterwards, she advises her son to be honest with Kayla, sensing he's keeping something from his fiancée, advice he doesn't take well. Back at the art class, the mystery woman finishes a drawing of a distressed Edward and hints that trouble is on the horizon. At Aaron's lavish villa in France, his lawyer Michael convinces him not to cancel their annual event for the locals, a gesture that keeps them quiet about his business practices. Seeing Aaron on edge, Michael presses for answers about Shantane's, but Aaron cuts him off.
The only thing you need to know is that this will never, can never, be made public.
Meanwhile, Julie, Luca, Edward, and Kayla arrive in Albania, using Sean's phone to trace Damien's whereabouts. Back in France, Ezra warns his father that Julie is a hitwoman and Kayla's life is in danger, but Aaron dismisses him, mentioning that his security team is already working on it. While riding in the back of a delivery van, Luca refuses the idea of returning to his hometown. His focus is fixed on revenge, on finding Alfonso, the man behind the wedding massacre.
I'm not going back,
he says firmly, catching Aaron's attention, and soon the mayor personally calls to invite her to the ceremony. Back in the truck, Julie grows suspicious of Edward and Kayla's How We Met story. Julie knows he doesn't even like tennis and realizes he must have been digging into her or her family. He insists he stopped once he fell in love, and Julie assures him his secret is safe. They arrive at Damien's last known address, but the place convinces them he's long gone. The apartment has been ransacked, and Julie suspects his attackers took an old laptop containing his contacts. A woman down the hall hands Edward and Kayla a newspaper with an article about a dead Englishman found in the Lana River. Julie believes the story is staged, and Kayla suggests checking the morgue for real answers. At the ceremony, Marie catches Ezra's eye. He rescues her from a dull conversation with the mayor and his wife, and though she's initially polite but distant, her demeanor changes when she learns he's Aaron's son. She tells him she's looking for Edward Green. Meanwhile, Luca splits from the group to find a cab, leaving Julie, Edward, and Kayla to slip through an open window at the back of the morgue. Kayla stands watch while Julie and Edward examine the body.
Because He's a cockroach.
Julie says as the details don't match her handler. Before Julie can take a closer look, Kayla warns that someone's coming. They bolt out the window, chased by police, and Luca narrowly saves them by hiding behind a stationary truck. Marie tells Ezra she's Edward's aunt and that her brother, Edward's father, is still alive. Ezra offers to call his sister to reach Edward but doubts she'll answer. Their conversation takes an unexpected turn when they bond over a shared love for anime, and they end up in bed. Meanwhile, while Julie and Luca go to find a mechanic, Edward confesses to Kayla that he entered her life while investigating the link between Anvil Assets and CGM, her father's company. He admits he's still trying to understand how it all ties back to his own father. Furious at being used, Kayla refuses to believe his intentions were genuine and walks away despite his pleas. Later, as Ezra lounges in bed with Marie, he chats with Julie about how the assassin business operates. Marie hands him a card and tells him,
"You would call this number and say, 'I want my oil changed.'"
At the same time, Edward deciphers that the tattoo of random words he saw on the dead man's body is actually a location. It means Damien isn't dead, and he's left Julie a clue to find him. Meanwhile, Kayla picks up Ezra's call and tells him she's left Edward. Growing suspicious that he's with someone else, she ends the call without revealing where in Albania she abandoned him. Marie reminds Ezra to stay in touch if Kayla ever mentions Edward's location. Julie eventually finds Damien. Around the same time, Jasper contacts Ezra for money, and when Ezra tries to tell his father, Aaron cuts him off while reading a letter he retrieved from a safe. Julie presses Damien for answers, but he says little, only that there's a lot of money at stake and 2 men came after him because of her before he faked his death. He warns her that she isn't there to play detective.
You came here because I'm the only person who can get you to the other side of the world. New identities, new lives. So what are you gonna do, Jules? You gonna stick around? Or are you gonna do what you do best and run?
Luca gets angry that she's choosing to run and walks away. Later, when Damien holds a gun to Julie's head, Edward arrives armed as well. Julie had anticipated Damien's betrayal and stayed one step ahead, ready for him. Edward misses the fatal shot, but it's enough to distract Damien, giving Julie the chance to wrestle his gun away and shoot him in the stomach. Though she means to finish him off, she ultimately spares him, leaving him bleeding as she bolts with Edward. The two flee to Athens, where she has a safe house. Meanwhile, Kayla arrives in France, exhausted, but Ezra catches her attention by talking about Jasper and Shantaine. He tells her about their father's safe and his theory that the mysterious word linked to it might be the real reason they're all in danger. Outside, a guard answers a call from Marie, who's just sent him money. He confirms the payment and assures her the job will be done. At the safe house, Julie invites a man named Cyrus over. He brings her a gun, which she intends to give to Edward, determined to teach him how to properly defend himself. But Edward refuses, saying he's tired of being on the run. He decides to return to his old life and stay far away from his mother. Kayla confronts her father, demanding the truth. Aaron swears he's not trying to kill her, but she doesn't believe him. To prove it, she forces him to open his safe and searches for the yellow letter Ezra claimed he saw. It isn't there, and Aaron insists it never existed. In Tripoli, Jasper reaches out to Ezra, but before he can say much, he spots a guard searching for him. He cuts the call short, promising to contact him again soon. After failing to find a working payphone, Edward steps into a cafe, unaware that he and his mother have made national headlines. He tries to reach Kayla, but gets Ezra instead, who offers to connect him with Jasper later that day. When Edward finally notices his face flashing on the cafe's TV, he panics and bolts, but the streets are already crawling with police. Meanwhile, the guard working with Marie tries to kill Aaron, but Ezra intervenes, saving his father's life. For once, Aaron admits his son has been useful. Edward narrowly escapes capture, pulling a stunt across rooftops to shake off the police. Back home, Aaron assures Ezra that he'll inherit CGM, and the boy celebrates by taking a sniff of magic dust. Jasper calls back and agrees to meet Edward in Athens, the nearest safe route. Kayla spikes her father's drink with Ezra's ketamine, while Ezra secretly tips Marie off that he knows where Edward will be. He then calls the number on Marie's card, setting Jasper up. Julie warns Edward to be careful during his meeting with Jasper. Meanwhile, Kayla finally finds the yellow letter inside on Aaron and begins to read it. Ezra puts a hit out on Jasper, promising his father he can handle things. Julie intercepts the assassin sent for Jasper, turning the Athens streets into chaos. Luca returns to northern Greece, still consumed by revenge. Meanwhile, Julie fights off several henchmen in a parking lot to protect her son. Outside, Marie arrives, pretending Julie sent her. Edward, unaware, gets into her car, running over the last assassin as they speed away, leaving Jasper behind. Ezra calls for an update, but Julie threatens him, warning that if she doesn't find her son, he's next. Panicked, Ezra hangs up. The yellow note reveals that Mrs. Cross hurt herself. Marie introduces herself to Edward as his aunt, leaving him speechless.
I'm sorry, but What, am I just supposed to trust you?
Funny words from someone who just jumped into a stranger's car. Marie convinces him they can talk better at a safe house. Back in Greece, Luca tortures Damien for answers. In France, Kayla decides to return the letter to Aaron. He takes the chance to tell her about Chantaine, revealing it was the name of their mother's French poodle. He admits his guilt and warns that exposing the letter's contents could destroy CGM and their mother's reputation. He urges her to think carefully before acting. At a border checkpoint, Edward hides in the back of Marie's truck, but when an officer insists on inspecting it, she shoots him. Luca leaves with a briefcase, abandoning a badly wounded Damien. In France, Kayla makes Ezra read the letter and tells him,
Come find me when you're ready to talk.
On the road, Edward asks about his father. Marie tells him his name is Roy and that he grew up in Southern California. Edward wants to know more, and why Julie never told him, but Marie insists that's something only his mother can explain. Elsewhere, Julie forces Jasper to return to the house with her. She learns he never had anything valuable as he only knew about the email and bluffed Aaron to get out of jail. But when Luca calls saying he's recovered Damien's laptop, Jasper's life is spared. Julie realizes she might still need him after all. At a gas station, Marie parks and conveniently leaves Edward alone long enough for him to discover her disturbing sketches. When he pushes for answers, he purposely messes up his supposed father's name, and Marie doesn't notice, confirming for him that she's been lying about that too. Ezra goes back to Aaron with the letter, wanting to please his father by promising he has it all under control, but Aaron becomes angry and lashes out at him. Ezra finds Kayla in her room, drafting emails and trying to figure out who might help them tell the truth about what happened. They're interrupted by the assistant shouting from outside Aaron's office. He is unconscious and there are empty pill bottles beside him. Ezra calls for an ambulance. Edward runs until he reaches a payphone, but before he can make a call, Marie stabs him in the neck with a needle and he collapses. At the hospital, Ezra tells Kayla that he put a hit on Jasper using Edward's aunt. Furious that he acted without knowing if Edward is safe, Kayla storms off to the hospital, leaving Ezra alone with their father. Kayla calls Julie with what she knows, but Edward doesn't have an aunt, so his abductor is still a mystery. Back indoors, Jasper threatens Luca's mom. Julie and Luca rush back in to see the man with a knife and desperate need for money. Luca frees Jasper and tells him about a hideout he'll be safe in. Following Kayla's hints, Julie finds on Damien's laptop that French poodle, her 1994 hit in Spain, ties to Chantaine's. Kayla's parents hired her to kill an arms dealer they owed money to, unaware his family was there too. Soon after, Marie sends a photo of Edward, saying she's taking him home. Julie tells Luca that it means Spain, suspecting Marie is his real mother. Julie and Luca head for Spain, while Kayla plans to join them later on a private jet. Meanwhile, Ezra's first move as acting head of the company is to cancel Kayla's planned press conference to reveal the truth. In Spain, Edward wakes to find Marie waiting.
It's time for the truth. And tonight, I'm going to make everything right again.
She also tells him that Kayla's parents ordered a hit on his father 29 years ago. Ezra agrees to use company resources to help Kayla find Edward, but only if she buries the company's dark past for good. Julie and Luca prepare for their mission, knowing they'll have to split up. Before parting, they share a passionate kiss. As Marie feeds Edward her version of the truth, Julie discovers a shed filled with sketches and clippings, proof of Marie's long obsession with everything that led to this moment. One drawing hints that Marie may have ordered the hit on Kayla herself. Edward notices his resemblance to Jean-Luc and finds a photo of Jean-Luc with Marie, convincing him that she really is his mother. From his vantage point on a hill, Luca gives Julie eyes on the property, helping her stay ahead and take down a guard. Julie kills another guard and shoots out the surveillance cameras one by one after spotting herself on screen, putting Alfonso on high alert. Meanwhile, Marie reveals that Edward's real name is Florent and gives him a necklace from his baptism. Alfonso is struggling to keep control of the situation and wants to check things out for himself. While Marie has her back turned, Edward strikes her and makes a run. Alfonso shoots at him before Marie scolds that she needs him and Julie alive. Luca can't reach Julie to know if she's safe, but she's alive and focused, finding Edward and trying to get him to move. He refuses to leave, picking the worst moment to demand answers. So Julie tells him the truth. After killing his father, she shot Marie on instinct, then found him, Edward, and took him. She confesses she once lost a pregnancy, and though she felt relief at the time, it convinced her she wasn't meant to be a mother. Yet she couldn't ignore the pull to protect him, even if it meant living with the guilt of what she'd done. Marie's voice cuts through the speakers, revealing the final twist. She isn't Edward's real mother either. She and his father had paid a surrogate to carry a child she never wanted, but he did. Edward, already weak, insists he's fine, blaming it on the injection Marie gave him. Outside, Luca spots Alfonso, the man who murdered his friends, and rage boils in him. Julie detonates a bomb, blowing up Marie's studio to create a diversion. It works long enough to corner Marie and force her men to lower their weapons, but things take a darker turn when Edward collapses. Marie smugly reveals he's been poisoned. Kayla arrives with backup just in time to stop Luca from going in alone. Marie refuses to say why she's done this, only hinting that the antidote is inside. Luca finally corners Alfonso at gunpoint, making him face what he's done. Meanwhile, Marie lays out her twisted ultimatum. For Edward to live, he must kill Julie.
How far would you go for the person you love?
Luca can't bring himself to kill Alfonso, just as Edward refuses to shoot Julie. Even when Julie urges him to do it, he turns the gun on Marie instead, shooting her in the head. Elsewhere, the family lawyer grows suspicious that Ezra drugged his father. With Mr. Cross now dead, Ezra officially takes control of the company. 3 months later, Kayla and Edward are together again, setting sail on her yacht to search for his real mother. Julie joins them on the journey, and Edward is now at peace with her. And that is how it ended. It's a wrap for this one. Keep watching for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.